Hey guys, welcome back to the shop and part 3 of our special Puko project, and we are at the point where it is time to cut into this jacketed, massive pattern welded steel Damascus billet and see what we have inside here. There should be 35 layers of different steel, so let's start cutting this thing open. All right, well, this is not cooperating like I hoped it would. You can see this side came off pretty easily. This side is mostly free, but it's stuck right here, and then the ends seem to be pretty stuck as well. And then my stainless steel foil layer apparently failed in a couple places. All that to say, this canister is a lot harder to take off than I expected it to be. And I'm really surprised at how it's these pieces on the sides ended up sticking or welding, forge welding like this just from the pressure of, you know, curling in like that when they wrinkled up. That was enough pressure with the heat to actually forge weld them to the billet. So that's a little surprising to me. Lesson learned, this side as well. My stainless steel foil failed right there too. So in hindsight, I wish I would have gone ahead and used the white spray paint on everything, and we wouldn't be dealing with this right now, I don't think. But at this point, I'm gonna have to start just grinding this off so we can get our can off. All right, well, I finally got this side of the canister off, and this is one of the surfaces that were pressed in the forging press, and my stainless steel foil layer pretty much completely failed on this side. It failed to keep the mild steel from welding to the 52-100 for most of this surface area here. Now, I don't know if I should be happy about that or sad. I'm sad about it in this case, but the fact that I was able to get a temperature in my regular forge high enough to actually, mostly anyway, weld that stainless steel, I guess that's cool. But you know, I'm not sure I would call that a really good weld, but it didn't want to come off, that's for dang sure. So we're getting close. I can smell my grinder getting kind of hot. That's not good, but probably slow down on that a little bit here. And then yeah, this is turning into way more work than it should be. But this, I guess this is a lesson well learned. So we'll keep plugging away here. Every other time I've used the stainless steel foil, it's come right off, but I guess I really pushed the temperature on this one with this big billet. Okay, we finally got the mild steel jacket off of this billet, but we are not done grinding yet. The next thing we have to do before moving on is address some of these more prominent surface issues here. You see that channel there? That's where one of our edge pieces that I pointed out previously, it's a little bit shorter than the rest of the stack, and there's one right there that's already turned into a bit of an inclusion or a cold shut. If we continue to forge that as is, we're gonna end up with a void or basically a crack in our steel, and that obviously is not good. So you can see all these areas here, all these areas here where we've got edges hanging past. We need to grind those off, and just, it doesn't have to be straight because we're gonna forge this flat and everything, but we have to blend that in so there's no steps like that. That's no good. So back on the grinder. All right, there it is, our massive billet here. It's obviously still pretty wonky looking, but what I did is ground everything. I might need to get a little bit more right there, but ground all those inclusions out, or those future inclusions, and all of this should forge out nice and flat. All right, we'll put this loaf, which is still rather warm. Hold on, I might need some gloves. We'll put this loaf in the forge here and start heating it up. Heating it up, here we go. So you can see my forge is about to go out right there. This bottle is just about completely empty. Have it in this, in the quench tub here to keep it from freezing up over the last little bit here. And that's about it. So we're gonna switch this out. That is one thing you learn about living in West Texas. There's 3 seasons here. Let's see, 100 degrees, wind, and something that looks something like winter for about 2 days. Anyway, I was able to get the kerfs cut in the hatchet handles in between heats on this massive billet, and I've got it in there now. It's gonna cool down nice and slow so that it will be soft enough to cut up with the big bandsaw so we can restack it and weld it again. And on this one I'm going to do at least three pieces stacked up. I think we might be able to go 4, I'm not sure, but anyway, it's going to take one more restack to get our layer count of about 200, little over 200 layers in this billet. Now, somebody mentioned on the channel, on the last video, I think, talking about the size of the billet, and like the question is, you know, is this a good size of billet to do this in? Like, this is a really big billet for compared to most of your pattern welded Damascus steel billets that you're gonna do. And honestly, I don't think it's the best way. It's a way to do it. It's a lot harder to hang on to. I don't really have the appropriate tongs or tools to hold on to. I could go ahead and weld a handle on the end again. It's a lot heavier. It's hard to, I've dropped it probably 10 times just getting it forged out. So, you know, there's some things about it that are more difficult, but on the flip side, you have once you get this done, you have a ton of good steel to work with in a, you know, you don't have to, you know, do as many layer, I don't know. It is what it is. It's, I don't think it's better. It's just a way to do it. You know, you could do the same thing with 2 or 3 smaller billets, and maybe that's easier. I'm sure it would be for some people. It'll work out. So anyway, this has to cool down. I've got to chop it up, restack it. We're not going to draw it out any further because that's a lot of work. So this will be the best way to do it, I think. And on the final stack, obviously we're going to have to draw it out a lot more than we did here, but that's just the way it is. So anyway, there's pros and cons to each of it, and getting to this point today took longer than I wanted it to. Getting that mild steel jacket off was a lot harder than it was supposed to be. But again, some good learning experience there, and just understanding how steel works in different circumstances. I'm gonna go ahead and get these hatchets finished up. I gotta get those done and up on the website. I got people waiting for them, waiting to pick them up. And then I've got, probably get to it tomorrow, but I got handles to put on some knives and stuff like that. All that to say, I wanted to get a little further along on the Puko project today, but that's where we're at, and we got plenty more awesome stuff to do on it. Appreciate you guys watching, as always, and we will see you on the next video.